All praises to the Most High, Father Yah. Hallelujah. See the title, Fornication has destroyed the black community, and it has. This right here is not discussed enough. We see many people on YouTube, you see so-called black men and black women bumping heads, going at it with each other. Once again, we are the Hebrews. That's why I say so-called. But for people that don't know, that's why I'm using the term black. But we are the chosen people of the scriptures. But you see our people bumping heads with one another. Uh, bumping heads. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. The black community, the black family structure is destroyed because of this, because of that. Economics, money, all these different things. Uh, but it's a lot of factors that plays its role with destroying the black community. But I really want to touch on this one, which is fornication. Okay, what is fornication? Fornication, and so I'm talking about sexual fornication. What is sexual fornication? Sexual fornication is when people are committing sexual acts with one another. They're engaging in sex with no commitment and no vows. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the truth that say, hey, sex is marriage. You can go and have sex with a woman, that's marriage. That's not true. Okay. And that's why many men you see that say they're in the truth, they're having sex with women and say, hey, sex is marriage. They tell these women that, right? And women fall for it. And they have sex with these women, and next thing you know, the men not around anymore. They didn't have sex with these women. There's no obligation. There's no commitment. It's no vows. There's nothing there. Okay. And I believe this is why those men feel that they can just leave, you know, because if a man really believed that he took this vow with this woman, you know, took this vow, him and his woman took this vow, not just amongst each other, but with Yah, that they will stay committed and they will have a holy marriage. I don't believe a man, if he really have belief in Yah, would just leave like that. But these men know that they didn't commit a vow. There's no commitment there. They just had sex. That's why they just up and leave like that. Uh, does it make it right? No. It's still fornication. But they know it's no vow and commitment. That's why they were just so easy to pick up and leave. You see, it's no vow and commitment with Yah. You understand? Remember, he said, don't make a vow you can't keep. This vow is not just with your wife or your husband. This is with Yah as well. Okay. And the Most High always dealt with vows, commitment, covenants. Okay. It's the same thing with marriage. What makes people think that it's any different? Okay. Uh, let's go to Exodus and let's read Exodus chapter 24, verse 3. It says, and Moses came and told all the words of Yah and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yah has said, we will do. Okay, they made an agreement. This was a part of the covenant. They made an agreement with their lips to say, hey, everything that Yah said do, we will do. That is a part of a covenant. Okay, he says, and Moses wrote all the words of Yah and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yah. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yah have said we will do, and be obedient. Verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yah have made with you concerning all these words. Now remember, back in ancient times, you had more women that were virgins. Today, a lot of women are virgins today. A lot of men are whoremongers. You know, it is what it is. It's not. This is not in any way discouraging people from getting married. You know, this is what being reborn again is all about. So you can't look at a woman and say, "Oh, she's not a virgin." You know, like if she's born again and she's truly walking with Yah, you know, so be it. Let His will be done. You know, because just let His will be done. I'm gonna say that. But when a woman was a virgin, when a woman is a virgin, right? When you engage in sex with a woman that's a virgin, what happens? Blood comes from her womb, right? Blood comes from her womb. This is what happens with a virgin. And you see the laws, uh, and you see that it was a law where when a man married a virgin, okay, he committed and he vowed a vow to take care of this woman and lead her and do and commit to her, right? But also when he laid with her, they would put a white cloth under the woman when they engaged in the act, and the blood will come upon the white cloth, and they would take that white cloth to the father, all right, as a token of her virginity. This is proof that she's a virgin. Notice I said blood, right? You see that right here, that the Most High, Moses sprinkled blood upon the people. That was a part of the covenant. The Most High always used blood for covenants and vows, majority of the time. Not all the time, but I'm not going to say always. I'm going to say majority of the time, right? So the vow consisted of you agreeing to something with your lips and committing and saying, I will commit to this, and then blood. And this is what it takes for marriage, okay? You have to, even if you marry a woman that's not a virgin, okay, you have to, with your lips, commit, say that you're willing to commit and make a covenant with this woman. You have to have witnesses around, okay? You cannot just have sex with a woman in a room, nobody's around, no witnesses, and say, hey, we're married. No, you got to have some elders, you got to have somebody around as witnesses to say, hey, I agree to make a covenant with this woman to be her husband. You have to do it that way. Or else, let's say that a man say, hey, I don't want to be with you no more. I'm not going to take care of you. I'm not going to do anything for you. And this woman say, we're married, right? And she go before elders or councilmen or anybody, right? And say, hey, me and this man married. And what if she can't prove it? There was no witnesses. She can't go and get these people and say, hey, come and prove to these people that this man married me and what he's doing is wicked. She can't do that because she don't have any witnesses. She believed what a man told her that, hey, we gonna go to this room, we're gonna have sex, and we're married. And it doesn't work that way. It's a vow, it's a covenant, and you need witnesses around when a vow and a covenant is made. All right? So that's fornication. And anybody will say, oh, okay, well, sex is just marriage. Women out here, if you believe that, just know, I'm not saying all brothers do this, but just know that that man can just pick up and leave, but it was never a vow covenant made in the first place. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. You don't have to, and people say, well, do I got to go through the state? No, you don't have to go through the state. You can simply have honorable people, elders, or you have your mother and father, of course, there, have witnesses and make a vow and a covenant. Okay, and we're going to get to that, but let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. All right. And this is not happening in the black community, and this is why you see a lot of lack of order. It's a lot of disorder. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it says, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Okay? So we see right here that Yah is the ultimate provider, right? He's the protector, he's the leader, spiritual guide, and much more. So man is supposed to do these things for his wife and family because we created an image of Yah, right? Yah is the provider. He gave us a whole earth for our needs, right? He's the protector. He protects us. He's a leader, right? He leads us in the path we should go, spiritual guide, and much more. All right, so man's supposed to do these things, right? So how did fornication destroy us? Number one, no commitment. Okay, like I said, when you look in the black community today, it's a lack of marriage. Most people are having sex out of marriage, even people in the truth. They're having sex out of marriage, and it's destroying the order of the household. Children are born outside of marriage, okay? And it's destroying the order because it's no commitment. You understand? If a man is a believer or have some fear of Yah, and he makes a commitment to be with this woman and the woman vice versa, it would be some fear there. You wouldn't just want to break that covenant that you made with this man or woman like it's nothing. Okay? And once again, if that person does break the covenant, then you can assure that they will not go unpunished for that. You best believe it. Okay? But it's no commitment. All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 22. All right. This is Exodus chapter 22. Let's see the commitment that a man has, right, to his wife. Exodus chapter 22, verse 16 to 17. It says, "And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins." Okay. Once again, all right. So people say, the dowry is. I heard people say, they didn't agree with that. They think it's some pimp type stuff. Understand, a dowry was to show that father that you're able to take care of his daughter. We see this with David and Saul. Saul said, "Hey, I want you to marry my daughter." David said, "I can't. You're a king. I cannot afford to pay a dowry to you. You're of royalty," right? Because kings and people of royalty would expect maybe a bigger dowry, higher expectations and standards. David at the time, he wasn't even king. He didn't have much money, right? So he said, "Hey, I can't afford a dowry." And he said, "Well, look, do this instead," right? But that just goes to show that even a dowry was a way that it was a form of commitment. Because if a man had to pay a dowry and a man knew, like, you know what, let's say now people just do whatever they want. Our ancestors, you got to pay this dowry to be with this man's wife. Men are going to do whatever it takes. They're going to be grinding and doing all types of things to make sure that they can get this dowry to be able to have this woman. We see that with Jacob. That man worked 14 years because he really wanted to marry this woman. Okay? The woman is the gift, not the man. And I'll get to that on another video. Okay? The woman is the gift because the woman is given to the man. Nowhere in scripture does it say, "Oh, I'm going to give you a husband." It's nowhere in scripture. All right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 24. Let's go to Genesis 24. Verse 51 and 53. Genesis 24, verse 51 and 53. It's kind of cold in here, guys, so that's why I'm sniffling. But Genesis chapter 24, verse 51 to 53. It says, "Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son. Let her be thy master's son's wife, as Yah hath spoken." And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped Yah, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. Wait a minute. He also gave it to her brother and her mother precious things. That was a dowry. Okay, that was a dowry, guys. Let's go to Genesis chapter 31. Let's go to Genesis 31, verse 39 to 41. Genesis 31, verses 39 to 41. Hold on. This is Jacob. This is our forefather Jacob. Let's see what he was talking. He said, that which was torn of beasts I brought not unto you. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand did thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. This is how much this man was working. For what? To marry Rachel. Okay? If you had this type of commitment in the black community today, trust, you will not see as much fornication as you see. But once again, you need fathers. You need stern fathers around. I know everybody is not going to take heed to this message, sad to say, but I know the remnant will. And we got to get back to this. Not saying that you tell a young man, hey man, I need 100,000 to marry my daughter. You can work with him. You can even just look at his work ethic, see what he got going on. But the lack of commitment, sex is just given up so easy. Listen to what I'm saying. Sex is given up too easy. It's a lack of commitment, a lack of work to get a woman nowadays. This is why you see so much fornication. This is why you see homes that are broken. This is one reason. Just one of the reasons. This is why you see no order. Children being raised the way that they shouldn't. Okay? It's no commitment. All right? He says, thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served you 14 years for thy two daughters, right? Because he ended up marrying Leah too, even though that was some deceitful stuff, but it happened that way. And 6 years for thy cattle. Thou hast changed my wages 10 times, okay? This is what Jacob went through. But he was willing to go through that to marry this woman, to show you. This is not to elevate women, because the man is the head. Man was created in the image of Yah. But this is to show you that the woman is the gift. A gift is a what? Possession. Don't when a man get a gift, that's his possession. He cherish it, right? He's very grateful. He's happy to receive that gift that he really wanted, right? Scripture say a wife is a gift, right? But in order for a wife to be considered a gift, you can't be, the women too, you can't be walking around with your butt all out, breasts out, sleeping around, body count sky high. You can't be doing that. Then you won't be a prize anymore. Okay? You sleeping with all these men, your worth goes down. Okay? Don't worry about what men doing. Don't worry about what, if you born again too, if you get in this truth, stay celibate till you get the right husband, okay? Till the Most High send you to the right husband. All right? So it's on both parts, right? But let's go to Exodus chapter 21. Let's go to Exodus 21. But this is why you see the stuff you see in our communities today. Everybody just having sex with no commitment, you know, no responsibility, just sex. You know what I'm saying? Even in the truth, you see it going on. And this is why you see the lack of order. And this is one of the reasons why homes are destroyed today. You know, this is not how it's supposed to be. All right. So look, Exodus 21, verse 10, he says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. What does that mean? That means that man, this is part of the commitment when you marry a woman, right? So praise Yah. This is part of the commitment, all right? So I had to realize, like, when I started learning the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Most High, I thought that being unfaithful was just, well, stepping out on your wife and having sex with another woman or whatever, right? or a woman, stepping out on her husband and having sex with another man. Yeah, that is being unfaithful. But think about it. When the Most High said be faithful, what does he mean? He wants you to be faithful to the covenant and the agreement that was made from our ancestors. He wants us to be faithful to that, meaning that do as I told you. Fulfill the duties that's a part of this covenant. It's the same thing with marriage. When we start to look at it that way, we'll say, you know what? A lot of us will look back at some point and say, man, I was unfaithful. Yeah, I didn't step out and sleep with anybody, but I was unfaithful. You're right. Many unfaithful now because you're not fulfilling the duties of that covenant of marriage between man and woman. And this is duties that the man's supposed to fulfill. He says, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So he got to take care of her. Her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage. Duty of marriage. And then he says 11, conjugal rights too. A man can't deny a woman conjugal rights, which is sex. That's wicked. If you're in a marriage and you like, nah, I'm not having sex with you, nah, that's wicked. Ain't no withholding. You see what I'm saying? Unless it's for righteous reasons, because y'all want to come together for prayer and reading and things like that. He says, if he do not these three unto her, then she shall go out free without money. All right. So let's go to Judges chapter 1. Judges chapter 1, verses 12 to 13. Judges 1, 12 to 13. Let's see the commitment that Caleb. Man, Caleb was a man. I love all our ancestors, but Caleb was a man that was fascinating to me because he was such a strong man, a man of valor, and he wanted his daughter to have the same type of man. As we can see, the commitment that he put upon these young men, like, look, this is what you're going to have to do if you want to marry my daughter. Look what he said. And Caleb said, he that smiteth Kirjath Sepher and taketh it, to him will I give Oxai, my daughter, to wife. Right? So he said, look, if you can go and take over this town, this place, and conquer this place, this is why enemies dwell. Now, this wasn't no regular place. This is where giants dwelt. Okay, now look, if anybody can go and take this, you take this town, you can marry my daughter. That's a lot of commitment right there, man. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If it was this type of commitment around today, men wouldn't just be lollygagging, just doing whatever they want. Especially if you knew I had to kill giants to marry this man's daughter. Ain't no way in heck I'ma just like not cherish this or appreciate this, right? But this was the amount of commitment that our ancestors had to fulfill in order just to marry a woman, right? It says, and Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it, and he gave him Oxai, his daughter, to wife. This man had to go and conquer a whole town in order to marry this man's daughter. That is commitment, man. It ain't even nowhere near close to that type of commitment in our communities today. Men can just do whatever they want. Nah. You could have sex with women. You could just go outside, meet a woman, and have sex that same day. It's no type of work that need to be done to get a woman today. And it's because we lack the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. Because if men knew their worth and women knew their worth, right, they wouldn't just have sex with anybody. You see, many of us wasn't raised this way. I get it, and that's why I said only a remnant is going to really want to do this thing. And I know we're not in our land, and it's just some things we just can't do according to the way our ancestors did it. But we can give our all, you get what I'm saying? And this fornication needs to stop. Just lollygagging, just men sleeping with whoever they want to, because it's destroying the homes. Seriously, it's destroying the homes. There's no commitment there. You know, ain't no way in hell if a man had to conquer a whole town to get this woman. Ain't no way in hell he gonna just pick up and leave once he gets some sex. Nah, he not doing that. But that's what men doing today. All right. So if there's no law, order, vows, or commitment that man will not feel obligated to commit to his duties as a husband. I said that. If there's no commitment or no vow made, then you won't feel committed. You see? But if you made a commitment to something or a vow, and you knew if you broke that vow, you'd be punished. It'll be more of a mindset of like, I need to commit to this. Even if I make mistakes, I can't give up. I gotta keep pushing. You understand? That's how our ancestors was. Like even our ancestors 50 years ago, they had hard times through marriage, but they believed in the vows and commitment that they made. So they didn't just give up that easy and just say, hey, I'm gonna just leave. That stuff came in the 1970s and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the 60s and back. 60s when the black homes started really being destroyed, like the late 60s, mid 60s, but the early 60s, 50s and back, you ain't see this type of stuff. You ain't see this stuff in the 1950s and 40s like you do today, because they really believed in the vow that they was making. You know, if a man lost his job or if a woman, end up, going through some things or whatever, or they would still keep pushing. They're going to keep trying. They're not going to give up. Ain't no man gonna just say, well, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna just go and leave. No, because he know it's a commit. It's something that I have to commit to. Because it was a vow made that he believed in that vow. If it's no vow made, if it's just like, oh, well, I met her at the club, you know what I'm saying? And I end up having sex with her next week. And, I was dealing with her for a few months. She got pregnant. He don't feel like it's any sense of commitment there. No vow was made. It's like it was just sex, you know what I'm saying? And sex is not just sex, but that's how people look at it. All right? So if a man or woman break their covenant marriage, they will have to answer to Yah for that, right? Of course, if they do not repent within this period of grace. So lack of courting, right? Lack of courting and sex too soon. That's another thing. Lack of courting and sex too soon can lead to babies with people you dislike or hate. If you meet someone, you gotta courting. Our ancestors court. So what is courting? Courting is when you meet somebody you're interested in, and you say, "Man, this may be a potential, right?" But you're giving it time to get to know this person, to see what type of heart and spirit they have before you come together and lay with this person and make a vow. That's courting, right? That's courting. Our ancestors, they will court for years. Some people in Africa still do it, right? A brother was talking about how he was courting a woman for like 7 years or something, right? People here would look at that like it's crazy. What's wrong? I think you should court a woman for at least 7 months to a year. You know what I'm saying? Longer if you have to, right? Because if a man and woman is courting and they're giving it time, if a person has something going on in their spirit or heart, or they really don't believe in y'all, or they're not, you can see that it's going to be a lack of commitment, they're going to show those red flags. But if you meet a person and you say, oh, this is sent from Yah and all this stuff, leaning on your own understanding, and you have sex with that person that first month and you marry him, right? You don't even know this person. You don't know them. Now you got to get to know them while you're married, and you start seeing all these things, right? And guess what? It's going to be a miserable marriage. It's going to be sorrowful. You're going to live with regrets. You're going to be like, man, like I should have waited. But now you got to deal with it because you made a vow and covenant with this person. So now you got to be with them and pray to Yah, and hopefully things will get better. But that's why courting is very important. You don't want to rush, even when you're doing it the right way. You don't want to go and rush and marry someone. You know what I'm saying? Because especially, you only knew them for 1 month, right? So our people not courting at all right now. They having sex. Ain't no courting. They not even getting married, right? So let's go to 2 Corinthians. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. This is what happened to our ancestor Judah. He didn't take no counsel from his father. He saw a Canaanite woman, and he saw with, dressed up with the jewels on, looking good, body looking good. And he said, you know what? Man, he didn't have drinks and wine, and he just slept with her that night. And it was it. He married her. And guess what? That woman was wicked as ever. And both her sons was murdered. Well, both not murdered, but the Most High killed them because of their wickedness, right? He married a wicked woman. He married a wicked woman because he didn't seek counsel. He didn't court. If he would have went to his father and say, Father, I see this woman, his father would have told him, look, you better not marry that woman. That's another thing. We don't even go to our parents anymore. We don't listen to nobody. The parents tell you, hey, I don't think you should marry this person. And then your friends telling you, hey, man, I don't think you should marry this person, bruh. All these people telling you, but you still like, but I want to, man. Okay, if all these people saying something, maybe I need to get on my knees, fast, pray. I need to get some answers from y'all, right? People don't listen. Our people doing what they want. Having sex, willy-nilly, just lollygagging. And that's why we destroying ourselves. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right? So you've been to met this person, a woman meet this man, right? He got the nice big beard, fringes, looking good, right? He come off like he a believer, right? And you end up finding out like this man really don't believe like that, right? He kind of playing a role, but he really don't believe. It's the same thing with a man meeting a woman too. She looking nice, head wrap, right? Appear to be holy, right? But when you get to know her, you like, wait a minute, this person ain't really even trying to live this thing. Like, now you just married a person that ain't even really a believer, right? They acting like they a believer, but they ain't even a believer. And if you in the truth and you just marry someone that ain't even acting like they in the truth, then hey, I don't know what else to say. You should know better then. If you in the truth and you just go and just marry somebody that's in the world, you walking this walk, that's on you at that point. You should know better. Right, but I know a lot of brothers is leading women astray and acting like they this and they that, and it's vice versa, But he say don't be yoked with unequally yoked with unbelievers, because it's going to be very sorrowful if you a believer and you want to do right by y'all. It's going to be a sorrowful marriage. He says, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? Can't bind together. Let's go to Genesis 2. It won't work. I don't give a damn. I don't care how good she look. It's not going to work. I don't care how big her butt is. All right? I don't care how big her breast is. I don't care how good she look. It's not going to work. You're going to be unhappy. I don't care if he's 6'5" with a six-pack. You're not going to be unhappy. You're not going to be happy if you're a believer. So you got to be patient. We got to do what's right. He said, Genesis chapter 2, we're going to go to let's go to verse 21. And Yah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. See, so scientists say, yeah, men and women share the same chromosomes. We already know it. It's in the scriptures, right? It's in the scriptures. We know this. Woman came from man, right? In a rib, which Yah Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. This is very serious. When you make a covenant and a commitment with someone and you engage in sex, y'all become one, whether you like it or not. And guess what? When you fornicate with someone, you have sex with them, you become one with them. This is why many of us, when we were in the world, we were sleeping with various people. This is why we suffered from so many different mental things: depression, sorrow, low self-esteem, insecurity. You having sex with all these people, all these spirits. This is why one of the prostitutes that Yeshua healed had what, like 70 or something, demons or something like that. All those people rotating doors, sleeping with. Got to be careful with this. So you meet this person and they got all this stuff going on, all these spiritual things going on, and you lay with this person. You become one with them. Even if you ain't make a vow with them, once you enter that woman, once y'all have sex, right? And men, when a man's ejaculate into a woman, your DNA is going into it. Y'all become one. So if we really think about this, we will want to be very careful who we become one with. We want to be very careful. This is not a game. You're just sleeping with random people. You become one with them. You best believe it. And this is another reason. Single parent homes. Single parent homes is one of the things that results from fornication. Period. You see women that got 7 kids and 5 different baby fathers. Why? Fornication. Period. If people was truly committed to marriage, you would not see this. You won't. You see a man, he got 10 kids, right? 10 kids, 10 different baby mamas, and he ain't taking care of none of them. You know why? Because he didn't feel any sense of commitment there. There was no commitment. It was just, I see this woman, she looked good. I met her last week. I had sex with her within a week or two. Boom, that's it. No commitment there. No vows made. If that man had to sit before her father or her mother or any brothers or family and make a vow before y'all and say, you know what, yeah, I make a vow that I'll take care of this woman and I'll be there for her and I'll commit to, the duties of a husband and I'll lead her and it'd be a sense of commitment there then. You see? It'd be a sense of commitment, like the person to be like, you know what, I can't just leave this thing. I don't care how hard it get. I can't just leave. I don't care if we having hard times or whatever's going on within our marriage. I cannot leave because I made a vow and a commitment to do what I was supposed to do. You don't see that. You don't see it. You know what I'm saying? In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that a righteous woman is given to a righteous man, right? So people, they say, well, I only attract certain type of people. We gotta look in the mirror, work on ourselves, okay? One thing I realize is that if we don't want to help ourselves, we're not going to be able to help anybody, period. If we don't want to overcome things that we're going through, we're not going to be able to help anybody. And if a man is not doing right by Yah, and you just keep sinning and fornicating, ain't no way. You shouldn't even expect a righteous wife. According to scripture, you shouldn't even expect it. You shouldn't even expect it. There have been several times in my life where I was praying for things, and then when I came to the realization, I said, you know what? I gotta overcome this and fix myself, or else I shouldn't even expect nothing from y'all. Ain't that what James said? Let that man expect nothing. Because you're double-minded. One, you say, hey, well, I want this, I want that, I want a righteous wife. But then it's like, I still want to do what I want to do. Double-minded, unstableness. Don't even expect a wife. Don't even expect it. And it's the same thing. Like if a woman always running across wicked men, you gotta look at yourself. You gotta look at yourself, because the Most High is the one. If you don't have a physical father, the Most High is the one that's going to give you to a husband. You know what I'm saying? You got elders around, councilmen. They're going to be the ones as well that's going to help guide you. But that's the way it is. So fornication, it needs to stop. It's one of the main things that's destroying the Black community, because there's no commitment. It's children being born out of wedlock, right? People just having sex randomly. And sex is a spiritual thing. It's nothing to play with. Okay, you keep having sex, fornicating with random people, you're going to be sorrowful and you're going to be depressed because it's spiritual. And all those spirits that you're having sex with these people, guess what? Those spirits is going to come off on you. That's why we gotta commit to marriage, right? We gotta get back to courting. And yeah, we just read the laws about virginity. Okay, all of us was men, we was whoremongers, women was sleeping around. I get it. If a woman is not a virgin, she's a believer. Let that go. You see what I'm saying? That woman, if that's your past, you should be living as if you're a virgin. Once you're reborn again, you should be living as if you're a virgin again. You should not be sleeping around. You should remain celibate, and men too. You know what I'm saying? And because fornication is destroying our community. Period. It's one of the main things that's destroying our community. You know, the Most High made a vow and a covenant with our ancestors. So what makes us think we can just do whatever we want with no covenant or vow? What really makes us think we can do that? Don't work that way. All right. So all praises to the Most High, Father Yah. I pray you got something from it. Hallelujah.